digest. From lane to the new shining ground, echo chants where the legends are found. Heroes carved in the heart of time, we march on through grit and grime. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Echoes of King and Greaves in the air. Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward, fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash. Numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd. Every game we scream it loud. Oh, Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire.
Yes, good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth. Not really. Welcome to THFC 2 or Die Home and Pat's present, hopefully an exciting future on the De Zerbi as he leads this great club to safety with 3 points starting on Sunday. But we're going to talk a little bit about transfer rumours, who's in, who may be out. And we're also going to talk a little bit change for Tottenham. Billy, welcome. I know you put out your statement today. So firstly, how are you, bud? And welcome to the show.
I'm very good, mate. I'm good. I'm excited to have Tottenham back this weekend. This feels like it's been ages, doesn't it? And yeah, all good, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. It feels
Me
like the
too,
start
mate.
of the
Me
season,
too.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it really
There's
does
that
feel
little
like that.
bit. Yeah. Just very quickly, what we saw against Nottingham Forest, are you hoping for the same against Brighton? Is that something you're discussing at the moment?
I
Or
think the guys are planning that. Yeah, the guys that are behind that are definitely planning it. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think the intention is definitely there. But either way, I think there's going to be a massive atmosphere now because obviously De Zerbi's first home game. But yeah, I think that is the plan. But just waiting to hear back from a couple of different things. So yeah, but definitely an absolutely massive game, right? And two, we've got
Yes.
Sunderland, Brighton, and then every game just feels absolutely huge now, doesn't it?
It does. And I'm looking, Billy, I'm working at 38 points might be enough for us to stay up. And I'm sort of gone with wins at Brighton and Wolves and getting draws for Leeds, Sunderland, and I forget the other
Everton and Villa
and Chelsea.
Chelsea,
I
yeah.
feel they're defeats in my view, but I think there's 38 points there. Are you on the same tally or are you a little
Yeah, I
bit
think
more?
so. I think it might just take two wins will do it, I think. And I think Brighton's one. I actually have a good feeling about the weekend, I think we can go to Sunderland and get a result there because I just hope that they don't have much to play for anymore, do they? So that's what I'm looking at the weekend as one that we might be able to win, hopefully.
Yeah, and I'm also looking. I don't want to go. We know we've got Wolves Friday, which I'm still considering doing the watch along because of how it does impact us. How do you think? Look, I'm worried about these players' mentality. If we go in to that game in the bottom three, are you fearful that some of these players' mentality might think, "Oh, we're down already"?
Big time.
That worries me a little bit.
Yeah, because obviously that'll be the first time they've actually been in the bottom three this season. So it would definitely be scary. And you'd probably back West Ham to get a result against Wolves, so it could be on. So definitely it could be something. But it'd be interesting because that'd be the first time these players have been under the bottom three all season. So it'd be a completely different mentality kind of thing.
It will be squeaky bomb time, as they say. Right, let's welcome a few people in, and we will get on with it. Big up to Paul becoming a new member. Big up, sir. Thank you so much indeed. And on Friday, you members get to see me doing a bit of a watch along to De Zerbi's press conference, which is something we're going to do for you members. So let me know. That I think it's about 1:30 that kicks off. So I will be on for about 1:20 doing that bit of a watch along. Now we can't show the press conference for legal reasons, but I can have it on me on the monitor, and we can sort of go through it. So look forward to that. Big up to Giant 68. Big up Dermo and chat. Big up to you, Giant 68. Big up to Wayne Bonner. Good evening, folks. Hope you're all well and enjoying the weather. Do you know what? It's been a lovely day here in the southeast of Ireland. Lovely warm. What's it been like where you are, Billy? Warm?
Yeah, same, mate. Obviously, the first 21 degrees today in England, so first bit of sunshine in a long time. Yeah, just been I'm not forgotten what it feels like to be sunny outside.
Yeah, we're at sunbathing soon.
Yeah.
that would not be a pretty sight for me, I'm telling you now.
Me neither.
Big up, Giant. We've got big up to Rick Harris. Big up to you, Rick. Haven't seen you for a while. 100% if West Ham win on Friday night, could have big issues with these players, unfortunately. That's the thing, isn't it? That is the problem. Out of all the squad, I think the players that might stand up is Xavi, Palunia, Mickey van der Ven, Romero, for all these faults, I think will be there. But people like Porro, Spence, some of them players worry me a little bit. Are you the same as that, Billy?
Yeah, and it'll just be very interesting to see which ones De Zerbi favours, really. Yeah, it's obviously completely new manager, completely new system, completely new everything. So it'll be interesting to see what he makes of the playing squad, because it's a fresh start for all of them. It'll be interesting to see those players which have had a bit of a dodgy season, whether it's a fresh start, a completely blank slate for all of them.
Yeah, let's hope so. And big up to Colin as well. Colin, big up to you, sir. He says, I've reached out to the Yorkshire Spurs Supporters Club to try to give you some backing, Billy. And obviously, Jana, well, big up to you, Colin. Thank you. I'll let Billy respond to you in a minute. We're very proud to announce that we will be continuing our sponsorship with O'Connell's Designs through the summer and next season. And obviously, there will be a video explaining it more than me trying to read the script out. But there will be a video coming soon. But big up to you, Colin. I hope you do well. A big support of this channel and a massive help to me behind the scenes doing thumbnails and studios and intros and everything. So please get over to O'Connell Design. The description is in the link below. The email is there. And also a proud sponsor of THFC Till We Die going forward to next summer and this next season. So big up to you, Colin. Do you want to say about anything about Supporters Trust there, Supporters Club, Billy?
No, it's just great to hear it. Yeah, from from across the country, and that's what I love. The best thing I love about Tottenham, we had been talking to people from Brazil, Supporters Trust this week, and it's just great to see all these communities of Tottenham fans getting together. So yeah, thank you very much. It's good to know that Tottenham is such a big club where all these pockets of little communities everywhere support us. It's just a really nice thing to hear, isn't it?
It is. And also with Colin being a United fan and their Supporters Trust, have you talked to them? Because I think I just feel that, just for me from outside looking in, that you probably could all help each other in some ways. Have you been in contact with the United?
We have. I think they're called I think they're 1956. I think their name is, or something like that. Correct me if I'm something like that. And obviously, they're Man United are particularly incredible because they have they've done loads of protests and stuff like that. So yeah, we definitely tried to reach out to them a couple of times. We've also been speaking to Everton recently, West Ham as well. So yeah, I think the more what you'll see, and I believe that Aston Villa are doing a protest this weekend against their ticket prices as well, and I think Liverpool might be doing something similar as well. So this is happening all up and down the country at the moment. I think fans are fed up of high ticket prices, so I definitely think we all need to work together. But I think I'm right in saying Aston Villa are protesting this weekend, so it's always interesting to keep an eye on that kind of thing and see what they do and how we can learn from it.
Yeah, it's good. We want our football back, don't we, Billy? Yeah. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. We want our game back.
Yeah.
And that is true. So big up to you, Colin. Thank you so much. Big up John 68. Spence has an attitude and the ego problem. What do you reckon? There is there, but he is a young lad though, isn't he? Or do you think, what's your opinion on it? I think he can grow out of it, but what's your thought on it?
I think he just needs someone strong like De Zerbi. to be his manager. I think someone like Thomas Frank is going to struggle to keep him on board, and did struggle. But someone like De Zerbi, you might see a different side of him because he didn't really have much attitude under Ange, I would say. Ange seemed to be able to get the best out of it. I think as a teacher myself, I know that kind of character very well. And they just need a very, very strong teacher to keep him in check. And I think he'll either work really well with De Zerbi or he'll be booted out in summer. But I imagine, I've got a feeling that he'll work quite well with De Zerbi. So I think he just needs a very strong manager to keep him in check.
Big Ann, he says Mustar a good outfit to get in contact with. Big up to you, Colin. And big up to you, Simply 2006. Hello, everyone. Big up to you. Billy, do you want to start on the Change for Tottenham statement today? Because it has come out on X. Do you want to give the fans a bit of an update? And I do agree with what a lot was said in there, by the way. We did have the finances out. So what is the broad sort of acceptance of Change for Tottenham and you, where you stand in it all?
Yeah, I will credit a friend of the show. I'm sure you guys know Connor Levy-Nomics, who did this piece of work together. So I'm just getting it ready so I can see it as well. But basically, so essentially what happens is every year the finances come out for Tottenham. They release the official finances, public knowledge, and then Connor's done a little bit of an example, gone through it. Obviously, Connor works in finance himself. Levy-Nomics, you might know him as online, and he's gone through it. And some interesting stuff. I'll just read a couple of headlines. So some things are that obviously the on-field success is important, as we know. So we posted record revenue of somewhere between 500 and 600 million last season. That was because of obviously the Europa League winnings paid a good amount of money to that. If we'd have finished a bit higher in the Premier League, well, obviously we finished 17th, that would have been a lot higher. This season, again, the same will probably happen again because we actually get more money from the Champions League this season than we do for winning the Europa League last season, so that'll be there as well. The cash flow is tightening, I believe. I think if we're going to be spending a lot, we need an injection of cash because of all kinds of things like own player sales, and we're in a lot of transfer debt, we're in a lot of stadium debt, obviously. And again, I saw a really shocking stat, Derm. I don't know if you saw the same. In the last 5 years, we've spent over £1 billion on players. So we do continue to spend transfer money, but we spend it poorly. So our player acquisition continues to grow with 146 million hitting the 24-25 accounts. So a net spend of 146 million, which is very, very high, which is one of the highest in the country. I think we've got the third highest net spend in all of Europe at the moment. So we're continuing to spend a lot of money, but I would question whether we're spending it on good players. And another thing which Connor found as well, which is really interesting, personally found it quite annoying and angry, that Donna Cullen and Daniel Levy got huge bonuses last season. Donna Cullen got upwards of £5.5 million. Levy got £6 million bonus, which is more than any other director in the Premier League. Obviously, this was before that he left. This was just in line with last season. The next highest paid boss was Liverpool, and Daniel Levy was paid over 1 million more than that. And for example, Arsenal, who obviously had a very good season, their boss got paid 2 million. Liverpool's boss got paid 2.3 million. Daniel Levy got nearly 4 million, almost 5.75 million in total, which was a 54% increase on last year. So he's getting huge amounts of money. So some really interesting things in there. I would direct anyone to Change to Tottenham to go and have a look. I know the Trust have done a good one as well, and so have Swiss Ramble. But the key message is really we're spending a lot of money, but we're not really spending it very wisely. So I think that definitely needs to be addressed. What about you?
Yeah, it does. And look, I'm shocked that they got big bonuses. I'm not shocked about Daniel Levy because he takes bonuses mostly every other year. We are spending it very badly, Billy, at the moment. If you look at the last
£1 billion
18
in the
months,
last 5 years, £1 billion.
Yeah, it's unreal. On what? Can you name me any decent player? You look at United; they splashed out 250 million on 3 players in the summer.
Yeah,
that have basically changed our whole season. We spent on what? We haven't spent it wisely. Who do you blame actually? Do you blame Paratici? Do you blame Lang? Do you blame Vinay? Do you blame Levy? Or does every one of them have to take accountability, which I think they have to?
I think every one of them's got to take accountability. I believe that Langer has spent 700 million since he's been director of football. And when you think about how poor the playing squad is and how much work it needs to do, that has got to be a sackable offence. So for me, the first thing in summer that would happen is he would be walked out the door. I think obviously Paratici's already gone as well. Vinay, I wouldn't be surprised if his job is under massive threat as well. But when I remember a few years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, we always used to complain that Tottenham don't spend enough.
Yeah.
And the transfer window. That's not true anymore. We spend enough. We spend as much as anyone, really. It's just who we're spending it on is the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the recruitment and the scouting, and it's all just so wrong. I mean, this club is rotten from top to bottom. And this club is built for entertainment. It's built it's not built for football. And you look at Liverpool and you look at them and you look at Manchester United. They may have problems with their owners, but the owners have always spent on players. They haven't skept on buying the right players for the football club. We haven't. We have not done that in 25 years. I not even in Poch did we do that, Billy.
No.
And I just
imagine if we'd have, it's just heartbreaking, isn't it? If we'd have given that billion to Pochettino, or even half of that, 500 million, we probably would have won the lot. But to have spent £1 billion and be fighting relegation is just depressing, isn't it? Really,
it's head scratching. It really is. Big up to the two Marks. Big up to Cookie. Hope you're doing well. Do good over there. It's a great channel, and I do love watching it. Channel. If I don't watch it live, I always have it on me on the monitor when I'm working during the day, guys. So great stuff. Keep it up. It is. It's scandalous. $1 billion. Think of the place we could have bought, Billy. I'm just thinking. Oh,
so we've spent an awful lot of money in terms of transfers, but again, it's what we've spent on, which is the problem.
Well, we've got another one coming up this summer. That we're spending more money. But there is a scenario. I'm going to start here first. Now, the board's summer budget is currently frozen until the Premier League safety is mathematically secured with Igor Tudor. And I've done this all before Igor was sacked, by the way. So since Igor was sacked, in the hope of much needed revival. Now, scenario A is Premier League survival. The priority remains elite level reinforcements. Believe that when I see it. The club is seriously considering a move for Robin Riser Lens to provide competition for Vicario. Additionally, a bit on Vicario, he could, Fabrizio put out today, he could be on his way to Inter Milan. The long-term pursuit of Kevin Shade from Brentford is ongoing, with a 45 million bid expected if the club stays up. Scenario B, Championship relegation and immediate fire sale. It's anticipated high earners like Richarlison and Colo will be gone, put him back in the recycling bin where we found him, whose loans expires in 2026, will be offloaded. The club would pivot towards EFL-ready prospects, potentially utilising the return of Luka Vucevic from his Hamburg loan lead to the backline. And that's where I want to start, Billy, on this young lad, because unreal. He's had an unreal season. His stats, 100%, 104 key areas, clearances, total duels won, aerial duels won, recoveries. What a talent. We need him for next season. Would you bring him in to replace Romero if Romero does go next in the summer?
Oh God, yeah, I would bring him in regardless, to be honest. He just looks a real good talent. And my only worry with him is not, can he play for us? Is he already too good for us, and will he be going somewhere else? I think it's the only worry that I have there. He'll probably be looking. I don't think he'll want to play in the Championship. Put it that way. I mean, this guy is linked with pretty much any club that you can name, and Bayern Munich, and the likes of Real Madrid will be after him. So I do worry if we did get relegated, whether we'd be able to keep him. But he's under a long contract at Tottenham. So yeah, but I think he's going to be an absolutely incredible centre back. I just hope that we're in the Premier League so that we can afford to keep him.
Yeah, I saw, and also like him and Mikey Moore as well. I did see the documentary Mikey Moore Tottenham did with him up, and that.
What a good loan that's been, hasn't it? What a brilliant loan that's been for him.
It has. I'm sorry, I'm annoyed he went to the wrong side of Glasgow. He went to the wrong side. He shouldn't have gone to that side. Should have went to the green side. But he's been playing really well up there, Billy. I'll tell you one thing. He's a young lad. He's got his head on his shoulders. He's living outside Glasgow. He's doing everything right up there, and it's going to benefit us, I think, next season, because I think they've got to use these kids. They've got to use a Vucevic. They've got to use a Mikey Moore. All these youngsters that we've had that have come through our system that should be now ready to play in the first team. And I think if we do go down, we have a nucleus of young players, I think, that can take the Championship by storm. Add a few players with a little bit of experience in there, I think you got an exciting Tottenham side. I rarely do, but
I
this
think
is
so
Tottenham.
too. And yeah, it might obviously obviously thinking if we do go down in the Championship, we can't sell every single player, so there will be some which will stay on as well. You'd imagine people like James Maddison would have to stay and stuff, but I think it might be quite exciting to see some of the young players if we did go that route. Obviously, my preference would be to stay in the Premier League and hope that we do that for God's sake. But if we did go down, then
Yeah.
I tell you what, it would certainly be a chance to get that proper rebuild that we've always been talking about. This would be a massive version of that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Now, there is rumours about Locatelli as well. Now, he has played for De Zerbi before, back in Italy. I forget the name of the team where De Zerbi was
Sassuolo,
managing.
I think it was.
Yeah, that was it, yeah. But, I mean, if we can get like a Locatelli in, that'd be a great signing for us if we can stay in the Premiership and retain the services of Palunia as well. I think they're two great signings. Where are you on them two?
Oh, I think Locatelli is probably my dream signing in the summer, to be honest, if we do stay up. I just think like we badly need a progressive passer in midfield, and he can do that really well. Obviously, his experience, played for De Zerbi before, loves De Zerbi. Obviously, it's really hard to get Italians up the Serie A normally. Probably, you wouldn't surprise if we stayed at Juventus and signed a new deal there, but this would be pretty much my dream signing in summer if we could, if we do stay up.
It is. And look, we got a bit. Locatelli was in the beaten heart of the De Zerbi's team. They did finish 11th and 8th in these 3 seasons there. So, look, for me, I'm with you. That would be a dream signing. And I just think there's Italian players that want to come and play in the Premier League. I don't think Serie A is the league it once was.
And they don't have the money to compete either. Like we could double or treble his wages easily.
Yeah. And I think players are mercenaries at the end of the day. They're going to go where the money is. They will follow it. But look, Tottenham have got to be big and bold in the summer. That is for sure. Now, these are the list of players that and their estimated exit chances. So, Billy, I'll let you go through it. Vicario, we know he could be going to Inter. Fabrizio's put out today that the camps have talked, but there's been no club-to-club talks. Are you happy? It's 70% chance there to saying that he's going to go. Are you think that's about right, or where are you with this list?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right for Vicario. I think he's got more chances of going than not, and I think if he goes to Inter, I think it's probably a good time for him to move on. I think we need to upgrade on him. I think he probably needs a fresh start, and we've seen a lot that he's been playing through injury now this season with his hernia, but at the same time, I think going back to Italy, we're doing well, so I can definitely see that one. I think.
Yeah,
it's the right time for all parties. I think.
Yeah, I think so. And what's the one thing with Vicario that's sort of? I mean, for me, he's regressed a bit. Would you agree with that? Or do you think...
yeah, definitely. Especially when you compare him to when Ange first came, and how good he was when he first joined. Yeah, I don't know how much of it is due to the injury which he suffered, but it seems like we just really need a fresh start for everyone. I did see us link with Trafford today, didn't we? But of Man City, who might be quite a good goalkeeper. But I think Vicario, it's definitely best for everyone to move on.
I do. Is there any on that list would you keep? I mean, if we did go down the worst case scenario, do you think the likes of Simmons and Kudus might say, "Do you know what? We're going to give it a year," or do you think they'll be the first ones out the door as well, putting in transfer requests straight away?
I think because of their age, they'll be the first ones out the door, to be honest. Yeah, I do. Because obviously, they're like coming into their prime. Simmons still quite young, but Simmons is obviously has a big reputation. So there's no way Simmons would be wanting to play in the Championship. Of the list that you got there, the bottom 3, I think, would be the ones that I'd want to keep the most. Archie Gray, Lucas Bergwijn, and Mikey Moore, just because of their age and how much I think. Hopefully they'll be here for the long term. I think the rest are all sort of in their prime, and I can see them wanting to leave just because they're not going to be wanting to do a season in the Championship. I think the 3 at the bottom, Archie Gray, Lucas Bergwijn, and Mikey Moore, I think hopefully if Tottenham do get relegated, then those are the 3 players that you'd want to build the team around and have a really good Championship team and come straight back up. The rest, I can't see any of them really sticking around in the Championship just because they're all either experienced or have big personalities and big reputation, and we'll probably ask their agent to get them to move out.
I'd say some of them are already doing it, if I'm being honest.
I'd be absolutely devastated if Archie Gray left us, to be honest, mate. I really would.
I would. Do you know what? I like Archie Gray. I would speak to a lot of Leeds fans, and Leeds fans are sort of in awe of them. Yes, he does come from a great stock, doesn't he? His father and his grandfather, so he comes from good football royalty, like. But I think he's the what I like about Archie Gray this season has been his commitment. He's gone out there. He may not be the best player on the pitch, but he gives 110%, and that for me is what you want. And Bergville as well. I mean, Philip Brady's absolutely raved about this player when we first got him, and he is an absolute talent as well. I think Porro for me, do you know what? I think Spence would stay. But I do feel Vicario, Porro, Udogi, Bentancur, Kudus, Simmons, Van der Ven, sadly, and Romero would be out the door.
Yeah.
Richie may stay.
Yeah.
I know a lot of
He
people
loves the
want
club,
Richie
doesn't he,
to go.
Richie? So.
Yeah. We can't get rid of him. We just can't.
But the thing is, a transfer window that has what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That'll be selling 10 players. That's a lot of players to get rid of, isn't it? It's a lot of outgoings. I don't know. One of or two of them have to stay just by the law of averages. You'd imagine.
Yeah. Could you see them getting 9? I can't see Tottenham buying 8 or 9 players.
No. So it'd have to be the youngsters, wouldn't it, and the academy players. But
yeah,
you can't get rid of everyone. You can't get rid of everyone.
No, you can't. Who would you keep? Who would you keep? Who if you had to pick 2 players to keep, who would they be?
On that list there, I would keep if I could keep any of them, probably Van der Ven and Archie Gray would be my 2 that I would keep if I could. Not that Van der Ven would ever want to play in the Championship, but sometimes you've got to take tough love. And I think Archie Gray will. The only person I know who loves Archie Gray more than me is my good friend Scott M. I can see in the chat there. I know he's a big Archie Gray fan.
He does love him. He's got his picture on his wall and everything. He kisses his picture.
I would keep him just for my good friend
night.
Scott there. I'd keep him for my good friend Scott because I wouldn't want Scott to be upset.
No. Even Scott looks at his missus. So what are you doing, Scott? I'm just kissing Archie Gray goodnight before I give you a kiss. Big up to you, Scott. Hope you're doing well, bud.
I just can't. I can't imagine a lot of those players playing the Championship. Can you? It'd be strange. But I mean, hopefully we'll stay up, so none of we don't have to worry about any of this stuff. But
no, that's true. Do you know what? Look. I love my history of Tottenham. I look at the squad that went down in '77. Actually, the year I was born, we went down. So it was my fault. You can blame me if you like. But a lot of them players, we had a young Glenn Hoddle, we had a Stevie Perriman in that squad as well, Pat Jennings. So there was a lot of experienced players in that squad that went down. But the likes of Stevie Perriman stayed with it. Glenn Hoddle stayed with us, and we bought a few other players. Peter Taylor then came as well. I think he played for Crystal Palace as well, Peter Taylor, and managed the under-21s, I think, back in the day. But do you think football now has evolved so much that players' loyalty doesn't mean as much as to players of years gone by? Like Jermaine Defoe famously put in the transfer quiz the day West Ham went down. It's really changed a lot from then to now, hasn't it?
Yeah, big time. And I think the big thing will be the wages as well, because the Premier League. I know that apparently most of our players have got a 50% reduction, but obviously the gap between a Premier League wage and the Championship wage, I imagine back in the 70s probably wasn't all that big, but now it's probably hundreds of thousands. So I think the wages will be the big thing, which makes a lot of these guys will want to leave.
Yeah. Well, talking about Vicario, his stats this year, there is a 30 million peak. This is from transfermarket.com. So 30 million. I don't know what the latest. I'm waiting for a massive update from the people we use, so I might have that in the next few days for you. But his appearances this year, 43 appearances. He hasn't scored 65 goals. Don't worry. Don't worry, he hasn't done that. What happened was I was trying to put 2 things into one, and it didn't work out. 13 clean sheets this season and 3 over nearly 4,000 minutes played. I love Vicario. Went to the Brighton game last year, or was it last year? I think it was last season, or the season before, and he never shuts up.
Yeah,
he just never shuts up. He knows more swear words than I do, and I'm looking at him, and it's hilariously funny. He's using swear words like you can hear him in his Italian accent. It just doesn't look right. I think you're right. He hasn't looked right since his injury. But do you think also with Vicario that maybe with Ange leaving and the changes of managers that all these players had this such in-depth connection with Ange? Whoever came in, these players were always going to be distanced from that manager. Do you think he's looked at it and he went, "Do you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to fight for this club. I want to move on." And I feel sorry for that because he is a good goalkeeper. He could have been one of the best, but it just went sideways. It's a very sad how his career's going to end with us because it started with so much promise.
Yeah, I think so. And I think you've seen that in a lot of the players this season. You know, I think they had the big connection to Ange, and then Thomas Frank came in, who they did not get on well with. There was a lot of disharmony, a lot of poor attitudes, and a lot of infighting between the fans and the players, and etc. And we really lost a lot of spirit and community from the particularly if going back to the parade in Bilbao. All that was lost very, very quickly under Thomas Frank, and not just Thomas Frank, the players themselves as well. So, yeah, I think that's been a lot. I think obviously the style of play under Thomas Frank didn't seem to suit him as well. He just looks, obviously his confidence has completely gone. I think that Fulham game right at the beginning of the season was a real turning point. And obviously when he got booed after making 2 absolute howlers was a big moment for him. And he's never really been able to recover for that. So I think it's just time for everyone to move on with Vicario, which is a shame because there was a good goalkeeper there at some point. So I remember in that first season under Ange, people were saying, we got the better goalkeeper out of David Raya. And now suddenly a few months down the line, David Raya, who's probably the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment, and Vicario's, really struggling. So, funny how things quickly can change really quickly in football.
Yeah. And then there's this man, who's some rascal. Basuma, his contract does expire at the end of 2026. He's made 8 matches this season, 5 starts, 89 pass accuracy, 1.1 interceptions. Basuma on his game, I think, is a very good player, but it's this discipline and it's his timekeeping and the stupid things he gets up to. Are you surprised Tottenham didn't cancel his contract in January?
I'm surprised.
You think had to keep him around because of injury?
I am a little bit surprised, to be honest. But I thought he would go in January. But I think he's even got an option this summer. If we wanted to keep him, we could keep him for another year. I did hear that even I think in last summer they would have accepted a bit of like 4 million for him, which is crazy, really, when you consider how good a player that he can be. But there just doesn't seem to be any suitors. I'm surprised he hasn't gone to Turkey or something like that. And the funny thing is with Basuma, he might be really important for the last 7 games because, if anyone's going to fit the De Zerbi style out of our midfielders, it's probably him. And at the beginning of a manager, he'll probably do the same as what he always does and impress at the beginning and then lose his way towards the end and then he'll turn up late to training or something like that. And obviously De Zerbi is very, very, he seems like quite a strict manager. So I imagine if, Basuma's late to training or anything like that, he's done for. But it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a bit of Basuma in the last 7 games of the season. That's when Basuma's really good as well. If you remember, for the Europa League run, and he was excellent. So if you can get a concentrated Basuma for these last 7 games, and I think it could end up being important, but then I think he has to go after that just because he's let us down time and time again. Ange, Frank, he was late even for Conte, which is years and years ago now. So it's time for him to go.
Yeah, it is. I just feel that maybe on the ranch we missed the trick, that we didn't properly discipline him because of the balloon thing. And maybe the club could have said, look, we're going to make it a bit more public. We're going to give you a month suspension, or we're going to suspend your wages for a couple of weeks, instead of what they did give him. And he did put in that performance. Remember the goal he scored on his return, and he kept doing this. When he ran to the fans, he was doing and I thought, okay, maybe he's learnt his lessons, but obviously he hasn't. I understand some players have egos as big as Mars, right? And they think they're bigger than the club. But for me, Basuma had the talent, but he's never really fulfilled that talent. And you are right. During that run into the Europa League, he was good. He was one of our better players.
He can
I saw him at Crystal Palace
as well, can't he?
Yeah, I saw him in that game against Crystal Palace, Billy. The game, I think it was between the semi-finals.
Yeah,
and he was woeful that day. He really was woeful. But so was everyone, and that was the game Kulu got injured, and we've never seen them since. Hopefully, we might see him back for the end of the season. But yeah, I think Basuma will go, and I think he will go and go and reconstruct his career somewhere
Yeah.
else. There is a talent there. It's just about getting it out of him. As you said earlier, Billy, this is from the Manchester World about James Trafford. Spurs aren't the only Premier League club eyeing up for a move with Trafford this summer, as Newcastle also understood the team. The Magpies were close to signing him last summer before Man City came in and paid his buyback clause from Burnley. Newcastle currently have Nick Pope and Aaron Ramsdale, but the latter is just on loan. Pope is now 33, so he will need replacing in the near future. Trafford could be that man for Eddie Howe. There's a lot of Tottenham fans don't rate James Trafford. I do. I know Column's the goalkeeper, and he's done some great sort of. He was a goalkeeper, so he knows more about it than I do. But what are you looking for from your goalkeeper? Do we need somebody good with the feet, but a good shot stopper, or would you like just a good shot stopper? And that's what you want. What is your ideal goalkeeper?
I think that it's particularly, if we're with De Zerbi for a long time, then they have to be very, very good with their feet. So I think even if all things were square, I think Vicario would be struggling anyway on the best of times because he's not good with his feet at all. So I think someone who can play out from the back is going to be essential for Vicario, for De Zerbi. Sorry, I think he dropped Sanchez at Brighton and he brought in a Steele or that other goalkeeper at Brighton just because they're much better with their feet. So I think he'll probably prefer Kinski quite a lot to Vicario anyway. So the new goalkeeper coming in has got to be good with their feet, and Trafford ticks a lot of boxes, I think, because he's a really good goalkeeper. Obviously, he's English as well. He's young, can play out from the back. I think he struggled when he played out from the back against us right at the beginning of the season when we beat them 2-0. But apparently he was very good against Liverpool at the weekend. And I think City will be reluctant to let him go, but they have to in a way just because obviously he'll want to be number one somewhere. And I think obviously what happened was he was about to sign for Newcastle in summer, and then that deal fell through because he went to Man City. And then a few weeks later, they signed Donnarumma. So just because Donnarumma came in available on free, so it really sort of screwed him over because obviously he went there to be number one, ended up being number two. So he could definitely come in and be number one for us. And I think he'd be an excellent choice.
I think, look, I like Kelleher as well. I'm not being biased because he's Ireland number one.
I think we should have signed him late in summer, to be honest.
I do too. I'm with you 100% on that. I don't think there's any outstanding goalkeepers. Where are you and Kinski? Look, I felt sorry for him on the human level against Atletico Madrid. I think we all did. Do you think there's a future for him at the club still? Do you think on the De Zerbi can sort of give him a boost? Because he may be playing Sunday.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. I'm almost certain that he will play on Sunday, so it is a chance for him to do it. But he's very, very young as well for a goalkeeper. I think he's only 22, which is, for goalkeepers, it's incredibly young. So he's still got so much football ahead of him. So I wouldn't write him off just yet. And think, if he can have a really good end to the season, then who knows what might happen? Because let's get it right, he's very, very good with his feet, very good at kicking, very good at passing. So De Zerbi might like him, but I thought after that Champions League he was done. But then, funny how things change. You get a new manager, Vicario gets injured. He's probably going to end up playing a lot of our running. So, a big chance for him to save himself at Tottenham.
Yeah, where were you on Tudor Harry Treatment? What was your thoughts on that? Because what I like, the goalkeeper for me is the most important player in your field because he's the one that has, as Dave said it earlier, he's the one that has to pick up and make sure that the players in front's mistakes he doesn't let in. How important is it for De Zerbi this week with Kinski, and maybe Vicario should get involved in this as well to build them up again? How would you go about that? Would you bring Vicario in? Would you bring, say, a Pat Jennings in or an older keeper that's been at Tottenham, a legend, just to build them up? Would you do that, or how would you go about it?
Yeah, I think our goalkeeper coach is really highly rated. Otter, his name is. He was working with Allison. I think you just got to really try and. I think the best thing you can do is literally just play them again. I think maybe Tudor could have actually played Kinski in one of the because as soon as you play that next game, then the previous one is forgotten about almost. You need to get playing. The worst thing you can do is stick them on the bench somewhere so they think about it all the time. When the next game comes along, you keep a clean sheet or whatever, and suddenly you're looking up again. So I think Kinski will play against Sunderland, and if he has a good game against Sunderland, then we can start looking forward again. But I think the worst thing you can do is actually how we treated him when we took him off early, didn't play him again, and then Kinski. Tudor didn't even sort of acknowledge him when he was walking off, was it? Yeah. So I think we ended up treating him really badly, and his confidence was gone. But I think now, because Vicario's done for a little bit with his hernia, he'll have a chance again. So you can only you're only in football, you're only as good as your last game. So if he has a great game against Sunderland, suddenly things will be turning around completely.
Yeah, I agree, and I like Kinski. I do like him. I just hope he got the support he needs, and I'm sure he would have got it from some of the players, but I just really hope it does. This is from Football Fancast as well. This one from Fabrizio Romano. He says, I can tell you that talks already took place between Vicario's camp and Inter's. Very positive conversations. Vicario is opening doors. Inter are working on this deal. It's not done. It's not done. It's not decided. There's still nothing agreed club to club. With players' camp, the conversations have been positive. Inter director Pero and Alonso has been in London a few days ago to open conversation, and there is a very good relationship with this camp. I think this is one that will happen. I think it's an open secret that he will be going. He wants to go back to Italy. What do you reckon? 40, 45 million for him?
Yeah, something like that. 30 to 40 million, I reckon. Obviously, we bought him for about 20, didn't we? And he's played every game. So I think we'll be looking for about 30 to 40 million somewhere, and then. Yeah, obviously we'll look for more than the 20 that we got him for, and I think it'll a good move for everyone. We have to upgrade on him. He has to go back to his country, and then going to Inter is probably an upwards move for him. It's definitely not a backwards move, is it? So yeah, I think everyone will do well out of this transfer.
And I think with Italy, where they're in transition themselves, we're not qualifying for the World Cup.
Yeah,
with the World Cup coming up, Billy, and the players that could be on show. Especially goalkeepers and defenders, where we will need to improve, as well as the striker. Which players are you looking forward to seeing in the World Cup that you think, you know what, we could get them to come to Tottenham? Who's your sort of ones to keep an eye on?
Well, obviously one of the players I really like, Locatelli, won't be at the World Cup, so there's that one there. I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, some of the English lads, I don't think we've got much of a chance of signing anymore. If we could be really ambitious, I thought Elliot Adamson is already linked to Man City, and apparently they think they've already got him. But Adam Morton, I'd keep a close eye on. I think Adam, because of how bad our season has been this season, we're probably going to struggle for Adam Morton. I mean, if I'm putting my dream scenario on, I love Nico Williams of Spain, but again, just because we've been so bad this season, players like that are just well off our radar at the moment. So it'd be interesting to see what we might have to find a few hidden gems somewhere that I haven't really heard of yet, because I just look at all the sort of big players around in the world and I'm just thinking, are they really going to want to come to Tottenham after a sort of back-to-back relegation battle is a big problem. But what I'm really looking for is a progressive passer. I think that would be really important. A left winger as well, and obviously Savinho, who we got linked with a lot in summer. I don't think I don't know if he gets into the Brazil team or not. I don't think that he does. I don't think he starts up there. But I'd be interested to see if there's any standout left wingers in the tournament as well. The interesting thing about the World Cup is it's probably going to make signing players quite difficult at the start, because a lot of the players won't want to move until the World Cup until afterwards. So there's going to be a bit of a transition period, and then you usually get a few players that look really good at the World Cup, and then they get a sign off the back of that. So it'd be interesting to see. But for me, the two areas that I'll especially be looking for are the centre midfielder, the progressive passer like a Locatelli or an Adam Morton or something like that, and then the left winger, because we are desperate for a bit of firepower up front, I think. What about you?
We are. Me, look, I as you say, we've got no chance of sending any of the English lads. Adam Morton, I'd love him to come to Tottenham.
Yeah,
as you say, that would be like him and Locatelli. I think you and me be throwing poppers and throwing a party for that one. But for me, I'm looking at strikers this World Cup. See who's there. I think we need somebody in the left wing now. Savinho is somebody we've been linked with in the past. I think we need to go back in there again and see can we get him.
Yeah.
But as you said, nobody's going to come because of how bad we've been this year. There's no European football. I don't know if we can even qualify for Europe next season. I think the Conference League might be our best chance, or depends what summer we have. But if you're looking forward, Billy, where are we next season? What is your hope for? Where's your where do you? I think if we get Europa League football next season, I think that's a good season, and go for one of the cups. I think and win one of them. I think that'd be a really good season.
Yeah, and I think because we'll have a new manager in De Zerbi, it's just about sort of really getting that sort of that style of play in place for a season, so we can really push on for the next 2-3 years. I think, it's a shame because after winning the Europa League and being in the Champions League, we had a real chance this season to really kick on, but we blew it completely. We've blown it massively.
Yeah.
And now we're at a point where we might not even stay up. So next season is just going to be about setting out the foundations again, a bit like Poch's first season was when he first joined. It's going to be a sort of transition season, and I know as Tottenham fans we're sick of hearing that because we have every season is a transition season for us in some way. We don't want a transition season anymore, but because we're going to have a new manager, De Zerbi, who's going to play a new style, it is going to be that whether we like it or not. And if we can just get towards maybe the conference and go on a cup run, that'll be brilliant. And then hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years we can get back playing in the Champions League again. But because of how much of a disaster this has been, I think what will really help us though, and I think this is a big factor in Man United and Bournemouth and teams like that at the moment, is 1 game a week will be huge for us next season. That'll be absolutely massive. And I think it makes such a big difference to being able to finish in the top 6 again, is when you play 1 game a week. And someone, say for example Man United, what will happen is they had a really good season playing 1 game a week. Now they're going to be in Europe, and suddenly it's a completely different picture because you're playing twice a week and they struggle. So it's a really big opportunity for us to get back in that European places. But I think anywhere in Europe next season will be a big first season for De Zerbi.
It will, even if we get Conference League, and then that you can win that, you're in Europa League. You win
I would take the
you're in
Conference League just because we should win it. I'd love to win it.
Yeah. I was having this conversation with Tequila. Big up to Tequila. He says, I'll give Andy Booth a call. God, that is going back. I've got him on speed dial still. Well, can you get him there for Sunday? And he's sort of having a trip at me. Europa League, we finished 17th last year, fam. and we go this year too. We're miles away from getting into Europe, fam. I agree with you. 1 game a week, it makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
But one thing, you were talking Man United. Well, Man United, they will go out and spend properly in the summer.
They will.
To build that team, to make sure they can compete on 4 levels. That was the problem this season. We didn't do that. And we were stuck with a manager. Well, I don't want to look at the League Cup or the FA Cup. I just want to look at 2 things. Do you think De Zerbi, before we end, do you think De Zerbi is that manager that will come, do you know what? I'm taking everything seriously. That's what we need. A manager to do that.
I think so. He's got that passion. He's got that sort of, everyone that knows him says that he sort of lives and breathes football 24/7 and all that kind of stuff. So I think he is the right man for that kind of job. And, we need someone like that really, because I think Thomas Frank wasn't a strong enough character to be able to deal with a Big 6 club, and De Zerbi definitely is, without a doubt. So I think in a way it could be exactly what we need. And you can look at Man United. Man United finished 16th last season, but as you said at the very beginning of this show, if you go and spend a lot of money in this transfer window this summer, suddenly it's the 16th. They're challenging for the Champions League now, just because they had a really good transfer window. So it's not beyond the possibility that if we have a really ambitious champion transfer window, then who knows where we might be next season, playing 1 game a week. But we have to, and ties up to the very beginning of the show. It's not about the money that we spend, is it? It's about what we spend it on, because we've been spending loads of money now for the last 5-6 years, but we spend it on a load of trash.
To spend $1 billion and to be where we are, there's a show in that as well. It is. It makes you think. I mean, I can think how to.
I remember not long ago, mate, when we went 2 years without spending anything, and now we've spent $1 billion, and we're worse off than that. We're worse.
Do you know what? Thinking about it, right? Going back to the years I supported Tottenham, right? I remember a year we had Hoddle, Waddle, and we're going into, I think it was Gaza. I think we're going in to buy Gaza and Lineker. And we had, was it the year? I can't remember. No, it was Hoddle. It was Waddle, Gaza and Lineker. That's right. We had Chris Waddle, and we were going to buy Gaza and Lineker. And we had to sell Waddle to buy them. I'm just thinking, can you imagine them? Can you imagine the Glenn Hoddle with them for? What a team that would have been. And you're right. We've had so many good teams in years gone by, Billy. We've had teams in the 80s that were good. The 90s were painful, but that they were good. I think there's lessons to be learned, but this board has to look back at what Tottenham are. That is the problem, just to end up this as well. The board for me, you look at Liverpool's board, they always take the history of the football club and try to do what they do. Any manager comes in, right, you have to go within the traditions of Liverpool Football Club. You look at Man United under Fergie. He took all the traditions of Manchester United and he molded the club in his image under them same, their traditions. We don't do that at Tottenham. Where's the? And
I
this
think
is my biggest.
We almost need a director of football more than anything in summer, don't we? Someone who's going to be strong in that way. Because you're right, all of these clubs have got an identity. We're just nothing. We've got no identity.
It really angers me that there's no statues of Bill Nick. You could call the South Stand the Bill Nick stand. I mean, how lovely would that be to go and sit and you're in? It's a beautiful. I've stand in the South Stand a few times, and I love it there. The atmosphere is always good in that stand. But call it like Liverpool got the Cop. Man United got the Stratford end. What have we got at Tottenham? It's
almost like they're just trying to they want it for the NFL fans, isn't it? And to they want to try and make it so that anyone can go there and feel at home when actually it's Tottenham's home, not the NFL's home.
It's our home. Maybe in the summer we'll do a show on the history because we have a great history, don't we, Billy? We have a fantastic history.
God, yeah.
The first team non-league side to win the FA Cup, first British side to win a European trophy, first English side to win 2 European trophies, first side to win back-to-back FA Cups in a century, first team to do the double last century.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all forgotten about. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just put it back there. Don't care about it. As you say, bring in the NFL fans. Let's bring them in. Call it White Hart Lane. That's what the stadium should be called. But I don't know. I could rattle on about it, but I've got a podcast to get to.
That would be a good show. We should definitely do a show about that in the summer. That would be a good one.
Yeah, it would be. We got Beyonce, great arse in our arena, Dermo. Priorities, mate. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Mrs. Tron, don't know what she'd say. She's not here, so I could say I agree. Billy, thank you for coming on. You will be seeing a bit more Billy as well. I've enjoyed tonight, Billy. I really have.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually very much excited for Sunday, mate. I am. Feels like it's been a long time, doesn't it?
It is. Well, we might get you on Sunday if you want to pop on at halftime and full time. Give us your thoughts on the game. And we do. But guys, tomorrow we've got the run in. We've got a West Ham fan coming on. We've got a Nottingham Forest fan coming on. I'm trying to get a Leeds fan. Friday, we've got the build-up. Saturday, we've got the pre-match show. We've got the predicted lineup out on Saturday at 5. We've got the pre-match build-up on Saturday evening. And then Sunday, we've got the watch-along after the whistle. Friday, for you members, we do have the watching. I think it starts 1:20. I'm going to go through the press conference of De Zerbi's first press conference. And at 5 o'clock as well, for you members, you get the first look at my predicted lineup. And then all your non-members get to see it Saturday 5. So if you want to see it first, get a membership. Billy, do you want to plug anything change for Tottenham or something like that, bud?
No, yeah, I look forward to being back on the show again and keep an eye on change for Tottenham. And let's hope we get our first win of 2026. Because I saw yesterday it's been 100 days now, so we need to get that bloody win.
Yeah, on that bombshell. Thanks. I'm going to have a whiskey now. On that bombshell. See you later.